And continuing our weather impact alert here on this Saturday, it's 5:30, October 18th, secondary severe weather season. At least the chance for strong or severe thunderstorms waking up here today. We've seen a few scattered thunderstorms across the area. Some of those have been strong. Some of those have been deemed severe, though we haven't heard of any reports of any damage. Tornado watch still exists until 9 p.m., though we have seen several counties removed. Wood County would have been one of those counties, also Titus, Franklin, Morris County, Cass County, and Bowie County, and then the counties along the Red River. Still have Smith County included in that tornado watch until 9 p.m. along with Gregg County, Cherokee County, and then also Rusk County and down to the southeast. Looking outside, we've got sunshine, few clouds out there, and a lot of you are saying that you may have missed out on rain. There's still one more band of rain coming through later on tonight, so there still is a chance, but 80% chance of rain today. Covers tonight also, and it also covers the fact that we saw several thunderstorms across the area. By the way, thanks for watching on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page, and we're streaming on CBS 19 Plus. Couldn't do this without you, so if you like what you've seen, please like, subscribe, and share this out to other folks on Facebook. You can also do that, and on Facebook we are monitoring, so if you want to ask a question, please go ahead and do that. It's still humid, though not as humid as it was this morning. Earlier today, we had dew points in the mid-70s. Those have come down to the mid-60s. Air temperature down to 78. It did briefly get up to 87, may even touched 88. Northeast winds right now at 8 miles an hour. Looking at CBS 19 live radar, that skinny little line there is an outflow boundary, or cooler winds flowing away from thunderstorms that were across northern Texas earlier. And so that little boundary's made it all the way down. It's kind of acting like a little mini cold front. We've seen a few showers flare up behind that boundary, but it's also helping to stabilize the air. And so that's why these showers here from Mount Pleasant back toward Lake Tawakoni and West Tawakoni are non-severe at this time. Still have a pretty good thunderstorm in northern Sabine County, northeastern San Augustine County. Let's zoom down onto that cell there north of Hemp Hill. You'll see the lightning, and there's quite a bit of lightning also in southeastern parts of Shelby County. But look at the lightning here just south of East Hamilton along Highway 87 near Sexton and northeast of Ford's Corner. So drive up 21 to 87 and then turning north, you would run into a lot of rainfall and heavy rainfall. It would likely reduce the visibility down to maybe a half mile or even less than that. By the way, East Liberty, Calgary, Choice, and San Augustine, no threat of that thunderstorm hitting you. It is moving northeastward and will move over into Louisiana shortly. We're only going to take a few minutes at a time here because we're just not seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity. This was the strongest storm out there. Storm Prediction Center placed, not Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service placed a what they call special weather statement on that cell. So that means it's not quite severe. It had wind gusts around 30, 40 miles an hour, maybe some pea-sized hail in it. But you'll notice it does look like it was trying to rotate a little bit. Some weak rotation perhaps, or maybe some broad rotation high off the ground that did not create any concern as for tornadoes or anything. But certainly it looks like it was spinning a little bit, and there's likely a little bit of hail inside that. Going back towards Chirino and Nacogdoches, just a couple of very light rain showers. Let's widen things out, and we'll give everyone a nice wide perspective of this. Jamie Hauser driving radar tonight. Joel Robinson also here in the Weather Center as we have been guiding you through the afternoon and just trying to give you kind of an idea of what's up. There's been so many outdoor events. We had a football game over in Kilgore, Wine Festival up in Lindale. Looks like for the most part, we've been able to dodge showers at these events. Unfortunately, some folks who put down grass seed or fertilizer wanted it to get rained in. That has not played out the way perhaps you wanted to, but there's still a chance late tonight, we'll talk about this here in just a second, that we could see another line of thunderstorms come through. The severity on it should, it should be sub-severe or maybe a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in terms of wind. The tornado threat here will dissipate pretty quickly once we get about to 6 or 7 o'clock. Once that little line, every time that line clears the county, that little outflow boundary, we see the tornado watch dropped. So there's still a chance down here in deep East Texas, but you'll notice that most of the wind shear and most of the thunderstorms and the moisture are running away from that little boundary. So if they don't interact with that boundary, there'll be nothing left over, and we'll have to turn our attention back to the cold front back here to the north and to the northwest as those showers and thunderstorms possibly blossom. All right, so here's future Skycast. We'll start this a half hour ago, and it really sampled what was going on in deep East Texas really well. And it's sampling, or at least it has these little showers up here toward Tyler and Gilmer and Linden, a little faster than perhaps what they were moving. But look at that. Did you see the line of thunderstorms? By 10 p.m. down toward Carthage, you've got a heavier thunderstorm. This is the cold front. Temperatures dropping into the 60s. We'll go a little further along, and those storms eventually get on out of there. So they don't look overly exciting. They look like they could produce some gusty winds, probably in the order of 30 or 40 miles an hour. Certainly the energy in the atmosphere we had earlier today, that's going away. And so that is certainly good news. So, Jamie, any questions on Facebook here this afternoon about these thunderstorms, or anyone wanting to know? I think for the most part, if you had Saturday night plans, you might be okay.
Yeah, I think that we're pretty good here on Facebook. Just comment saying there's no severe weather here in Longview.
All right, thank you very much. All right, cool. So that's Jamie Hazard in the Weather Center. Joel, looking over some data, seeing anything that might pique your interest or has caught your eye just looking at some of that data this afternoon?
Yeah, I think the one thing that we really have to just kind of keep an eye on is the possible regeneration of some of the energy out there. Yeah, the energy that we saw earlier in the day was already kind of taken up by those storms, as we saw, as we're seeing right now on radar, kind of moving to the east. So we're watching potentially for another round of storms coming through. This is going to be ahead of that cold front. And so once it moves through, we have that energy starting to build up once again. We could have another secondary line, especially getting its act together over deep East Texas. Could potentially have a couple of strong storms in there. We're watching maybe a couple of severe storms possible as well. But certainly, at the very least, we'll see some heavy rainfall. These cold fronts, as they come through, can be very, very forceful. So we can get a lot of activity when it comes to these storms ahead of a cold front. So it appears that as far as this data set goes, we have that potential for a little bit more heating, and we already had a bunch of moisture go up and also just kind of come down from the storms earlier. So we'll have another opportunity for this moisture to be reused, and then we'll also have that opportunity for a little bit more heating as well. And once that happens, that's where that second cold front comes into play, going against that air mass that regenerates all that energy. So there is that potential for that second round going into later parts of this evening. This is a snapshot of around 10 o'clock. Now, it's important to keep in mind, when it comes to these data sets, it won't exactly look like this, but it'll look at least something like this. So we have that potential for a line. Will it be around here in over Carthage at 10 o'clock? Maybe. It's a very a good chance that there could be at least a line, maybe not exactly looking like that, but certainly something like this. So there we go. There's going back further back into like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, starting to develop now. That's where that main cold front comes into play. And as we continue to put this into motion, we'll continue to watch it move further to the southeast and really start to take advantage of maybe some of the energy that develops over the southeastern parts of the area. And then check out what we end up with tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the upper 50s, low 60s, upper 60s further to the south, closer to the front. These temperatures will continue to fall into the rest of the afternoon. We could potentially see highs in some spots in the upper 70s. But as of right now, I think we kind of have to play the waiting game here to see if we get enough energy built back up for the thunderstorms to redevelop ahead of the cold front later tonight.
All right, Jimmy, let's go back to the tornado watch and see if we've had any other counties shaved off of that watch. We've seen as that boundaries moved south and eastward, we've seen a kind of a reduction of the watch. We had Titus, Franklin, Morris County, Camp County all removed from the watch. Wood County, city of Mineola, also very close to Lindale. I think Tyler or Houston, Smith County will be next. Wood County will also, or Upshur County will come off of that. Should be Gregg, and then we should have lost, and I'm surprised we haven't yet. Cass, Marion, and Harrison County should all be also removed from that tornado watch. And they might wait until that boundary gets all the way clear of Smith County to then kind of shape this, and then we'll be down to about a handful of counties. This watch again goes until 9 o'clock tonight. So really, all in all, just about 3.5 hours left with it. And the main concern because of that is, well, we got the sun back out, as Joel just talked about. We could have some destabilization recur again with the northeast wind, though, and we still have some pretty juicy dew points in the mid-60s there. So there is a chance that these showers back here, lagging back over central Texas and North Texas, as they move back into this more buoyant air mass, more unstable air mass, they refire and they become a little feisty again as they move to the south. Now the question will be, did we use up enough of the energy from earlier today that these move into this this air mass and they're a thunderstorm or they're a heavy downpour of rain, they're gusty, they've got winds around 30, 40 miles an hour, fairly quick moving. If you saw that on the future skycast, they were in and out of here between 6 and about 9 o'clock, and then they were over parts of deep East Texas by that time, and then moving on out, and then that cooler air came in behind that. So we'll take just a couple of more minutes, and then we're going to get off. This will be a shorter update just because there's not a lot going on right now. We've had no reports of any damage. If you had really cool pictures of clouds, though, we welcome you to send those in. We've had a couple of those come in to us. In fact, we have one from Lupita Wisner up at the Wisner Mineola Airport, and this was as the gust front was coming through. Look at that, very well defined clouds here hugging the ground again. Very humid air at the surface rising and meeting the cooler air that's flowing out from that thunderstorm that was earlier in parts of Upshur or Wood County near Mineola. And so we got this, it doesn't quite look like a shelf cloud, but it looks like a very defined lower cloud. No wall cloud there, nothing to be concerned about in terms of a tornado or anything of that nature. And that was earlier this afternoon. Just a really cool picture from Lupita, so appreciate that. You can also post your questions still on Facebook, and we'll answer those there. But again, we're going to take this up till about 5:45 this afternoon. We are all clear of any warnings. We did have the one warning for Sabine County till 5:45, but I believe that has been canceled early. What happened, a lot of these thunderstorms, as they were out there by themselves trying to become more organized or better organized, they essentially encountered other thunderstorms, and those other thunderstorms choked off the inflow into those storms. I've seen this several times. And so instead of them being out there in their own environment, think of it like you have your own plate of food, and then suddenly 2 other people show up and are eating off your plate of food. Well, they're using up all your energy, right? And so everybody's feeding on the same environment, and those thunderstorms just basically use it up, and they just don't get any stronger, any bigger. And so some of them even fell apart or just sort of merged together and moved on out of there. A couple ones got close. We had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings for a time. We had thunderstorm warning in Cherokee, Rusk, and parts of Nacogdoches County. Again, that was a thunderstorm out there by itself, but then it quickly just kind of clustered up, and that was it. All right, Jamie, let's put this into motion real fast. Just want to see this continuing to move southeastward. That's the outflow that we're looking at. Though it looks like it's curled back a little bit, maybe not. Earlier I saw it clearing in southern Smith County. It doesn't look exactly like that's happening there, or we can't see the tail end of it, but certainly looks like it's there. There may be a couple of showers or thunderstorms that develop right behind it. This is kind of like a mini cold front, so it's lifting the air. It's kind of like a little shovel that gets underneath something and lifts it. So once it encounters that warmer air that's already rising, it just needs something to lift it a little further to get it to become a thunderstorm. And so that's what that's acting like. But back here toward Crockett, we've seen several showers trying to flare up in Houston County. A couple of look at that thunderstorm. Coming out of Crockett, it got into the air mass that was already used up, and then it just faded away and it was gone. And then farther to the east over toward Hemphill, similar situation. You had 3 cells move into Sabine County, which had already seen thunderstorms move up from Jasper and Newton County earlier this afternoon. And now you just have 1 left. You had several thunderstorms in the Arklatex, but that outflow boundary kind of choked off their inflow, and they fell apart also as they moved to the east. So we'll wait and see exactly how this little line here plays out. It may form into a line of showers and thunderstorms that then creates just this little bit of a gust front that comes through as temperatures drop back into the 50s by tomorrow morning. But I'll play this out for you one more time. We got about a minute to go here, and then we will sign off. And if we get any more severe thunderstorm warnings, we'll come back on. Otherwise, we'll likely see you next time on CBS 19 News at 10 o'clock. Jamie Hazard will have the forecast for you for Sunday. She'll be talking about some very cool air that's coming in, drier air, of course, that will return some of the fire danger to East Texas because we just didn't have enough rain, widespread heavy rain that we were hoping for. We had some heavy rain in spots, it just wasn't widespread enough, and I don't know that the rain that comes through tonight, while it rains and could rain over a good portion of the area, it's moving pretty rapidly, and so it likely doesn't produce much more than maybe 1/4 of an inch. But that's what it was at 5 o'clock. We'll play this out. You can see the line coming through by about 9 to 10 o'clock, and that is it. All right, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony for meteorologist Joel Robinson and Jamie Hazard in the Weather Center this afternoon. We appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening. We'll see you tonight at 10.